Weird science
is the revolution.
Scarlet, number 2, written by Kelly Thompson, Marco Ferrari on art, Lee Lowridge on colors, Russ Wooten on letters. We start at somewhere inside the clan Arashikage stronghold, and you're just having mission objective. But this is not giving me any sort of flavor for the character of Scarlet. I really end up feeling like she's just this cold robot-like character that is just like super spy, super ninja, super everything, because she could just do anything. You don't see her struggle at all. And we said that in the first issue. She did not seem to struggle one bit. That continues this issue, right? I mean, is she having any problems at all? She ends up where she says she had, they were smart. They got rid of the needles that I had in my lips and my gums. Like, you end up putting it under the skin. It's disgusting. But they end up doing that. And she's like, I only did that because then that makes it so they won't find the others. I'm like, no, I think that they're pretty good.
I think they'll do a full cavity search. Like, I think they're going to look all over you.
Yeah, so when you end up looking for something hidden and you're going to grab pins and needles out of people's lips and gums, maybe that stitched up, it's not even a scar, it's a stitched up wound
that she just reaches inside
and pushes apart and then reaches inside and gets, a razor blade. Like, they're not going to look at that. Like, that feels like it's just straight up there. Like, if you said something like, hey, I had a razor blade, don't ask where I got it, and we know it's the prison wallet, then I'm like, all right, maybe they wouldn't look into that. They have honor. They get a little there. But no, you're saying that they found things in your lips and gums, but they're not going to actually look in the wound that's barely stitched. Nonsense. But it's to get her out of being captured. So she ends up doing this and then just gets out and says, all right, let's fight. She says it's going to either be the easy or the hard way. Guy walks by, says a hard way it is. And now she is now kicking the complete ass of what looks like not just regular ninja mooks. These look like well-trained, even people who are higher up. I don't know, but it looks that way as she just goes and just destroys ninja after ninja after ninja by kicking chairs at him, by kicking him in the face, by grabbing one sword. What are these guys doing? Like, the idea that she's being tested, they should have tested these other guys. They're terrible. But she ends up ninja stars, all these things going where she is just able to just go and just slice and dice through these until you end up having enough. Even then, when you see, and it looks like, Storm Shadow says enough, and then they just start walking. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It is so wacky how easily she just does whatever she needs to do to get to the next scene. And what do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. She tears through all these guys, and it's not even, like, funny, because literally she's just like, okay, take out the immediate master right there. Okay, take out these guys. She's throwing chairs, she's throwing her restraints, everything. And then finally one guy's like, all right, screw it, starts shooting at her. He shoots the display case full of weapons, so now she immediately just starts killing all of them.
Yeah,
John Wick on
starts going, John Wick.
And she even says, like, oh, wow, sometimes you just get lucky. And it's just like,
You're getting lucky all the time. And again, you want to elevate the character and show that she's a badass, but what you're doing in the meantime is doing it by lowering something else. And in my mind, I'm sure that a lot of people who are fans of the Arashikage clan are real furious about this. But in my deal, what I just keep thinking is, why would you care about them then? I don't have the background with it, but I know it's a big thing. And I'm pronouncing it right now. I know that as well, haters. But you end up where all of this going on. Like, you need to show me that they are something big and a threat, because they are. I understand that, but not here. No, it looks like
they're expendable.
One person, I'm not even going to say one woman, I'm just saying one person can just go through and slice and dice everyone.
50 assassins.
What would happen if you ended up sending 5 people? Like, you just decimate them. You are lowering them to then just have Storm Shadow say, enough. And then they have a walk, and then suddenly there's Jinx, and Jinx is training people. And you end up having this crazy deal where Scarlet's like, I can't let them see that I know Jinx. If even a little smile,
right
I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, what? And then you get, her trying to train this guy, and she's using the same training technique that she used when you ended up having her training and sparring with Scarlet. Again, what this does is nothing. It just shows that they have a background, but we get it already. We don't get more, and we need more. I hope we get more by the end, but you're already 2 issues in, and this is where I had a problem with a lot of the things that she's done, Kelly Thompson, but she did it with the Birds of Prey, specifically one of her most recent books that she does at DC, where she wants to tell you information after the fact, like after the point when you really need it. You're going through a bunch of issues. You need to give the info that you want to give, boom, and then work off of that. But she doesn't, so there's no connection. I don't feel any connection to the characters, even Jinx, because you're not really getting anything of them. You see a couple times that they're sparring here, and they say, and I did say that I think that this is at least showing that they are recognizing that, Scarlet has had a boyfriend, whatever, and all that going forward. But some people may be rest assured with that, but who knows? But just to then have, hey, the Hard Master is going to come and talk to you. Like, at this point, Scarlet's killed like 60 of the clan. And you just come in and like, man, pretty good. Like, I don't know what we're doing.
Twice now, and it's like you've eliminated half our force.
Yeah, so at this point, legitimately, we're almost done the issue. Nothing's happened. She ended up escaping and then fighting a bunch of the Arashikage clan, and that's it. I mean, and that's kind of what she did last issue. So we're here wondering what we're doing. We know that she's there trying to infiltrate the Arashikage clan to get a weapon and also to get Jinx. She wants to help Jinx. We're no closer to either. For then the Hard Master to say, oh, well, you know what? You're passing every test. I'm like, test? Don't tell those guys that are there missing limbs that that's what they were. But in the meantime, you end up saying, okay, well, what we want to do for you to prove that you could be part of the Arashikage clan is you need to go and get this weapon for us. And I'm like, you said to me before we started, like, is this going to be the same weapon? Is this actually going to be the play?
That's convenient. What a MacGuffin.
Yeah, and to me, I think that the big play at the end will be, it is the weapon, but she's not even reacting of like, is this or what? Like, we're not. If it is, the big play will be, oh my God, who will Scarlet give it to? Oh my God, but I don't know that I'm that interested in that. What I want to see is character work. This book is what we know already, that we are going forward with the G.I. Joe book. I need to get strong character work after this series, like we got in Duke, that when we get to the G.I. Joe book, I love the character from this. I'm not saying from the past because we don't have that, but I need to love the character, know their motivations, understand them so that when we get the big G.I. Joe book, you can go forward with it. I'm not 2 issues of this mini, and I'm not getting that at all. What I'm getting at is super duper, I can do anything soldier who of the mind just talks like a robot. I don't feel like this dialogue, and Kelly Thompson a lot of times will give you that sing-song, almost like the Bendis dialogue type thing, and we're not even really getting that as much. You're just getting dialogue as info, and I'm not getting much character work, I don't think, and I'm not at all learning that I should respect or fear the Arashikage clan at all. I think that they are, they're schmucks. That's what they seem to be. They're getting the crap kicked out of them. And so I would love it if after this, you see those guys getting up and we find out that they were all playing, that all that blood, but they're in puddles of blood. But it kind of like this was all a dupe.
Back to life.
Like this was all a dupe to make Scarlet think that she's better than she is to do this mission. But even then, you get this play of like, okay, I need you to go to Japan. There's this deal. There's 3 towers. The one is, it's the Sato trio. And, the one's called this. There's the tiger. The third is the Sakura. And Sakura, that means the weapon's there. Oh, how did you know that? Because that means ultimate gold. That's not even that clever. No. And they're like, you are right. I'm like, all right, like where's she struggling? Clever. Where is she struggling ever in this book to do anything but impress everybody? And that isn't how you do it. You can't have somebody just be unfailing. That is it's not natural, and it makes you feel like you're just pushing the character in a weird way. And at the end, I mean, nothing has happened still. She's there now. She's going to go on a mission. She ends up going down to these buildings, gets into this building very easily, right? I mean, she goes down, she parachutes down onto the roof, blows up the door, walks in, and then she's there, and there's this big, giant, like, stairwell, and then what would you call it? Like a corridor or a pit type deal? Whatever it would be. And she's there staring down into it. And then all of a sudden, you just get alarms going. You have a timer that I don't even get. And then all of a sudden, they're yelling, she's jumped. She's jumped. I'm like, I don't even know what she did. I really don't like.
I guess she jumped from the catwalk down towards
into the
floor?
pit area, the steel, and they're like, "That's a code black." I guess that's at the bottom.
That's where her thing is. Yeah, I guess.
What is that? I mean, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Like it's like, "Oh my god!" And she doesn't look like she's scared. She's just going, and then says,
"I'll do anything for Jinx.
I'm going to do anything for Jinx. She's worth dying for." And I think that before the mission, I'm like, "All right, it's a lot of lip service. It's a lot of you telling me how you feel, and I'm not seeing anything except you slicing, dicing, jumping down to this big, well, or it's almost like I swear to God,
it's
I
like
can't
a
come up with a
silo or something. I don't know.
She's in this deal, and it's almost like what you'd have in a shaft.
Yes, there we go. Yes,
she jumps down the shaft, so she works the shaft. They're yelling, she's on but the idea of like, all right, like okay, and what you have in the book, I realize, Storm Shadow, very loved character, cool character, does nothing. No. Storm Shadow goes and says enough, walks Scarlet down a walkway. They go in and sit and have some tea because you always have to have that. And they're sitting around drinking and doing nothing. And then the Hardmaster comes. Storm Shadow's pretty much nothing then. You did nothing with Storm Shadow.
He was there for a name call.
You want to have some fun here? You want to actually develop characters? When you send Scarlet to a mission, that seems very important. I don't know why you would just trust her on her own. She just showed up, and are you looking into her past? Are you doing anything, Hardmaster? Send her with Storm Shadow and Jinx.
That would have been so much cooler.
Have them there, and then she has to show that she can be trusted. You'd have times where you could get more of the characters as well. Use your book to develop things. Don't just use it to spout out information and show that your character can do everything right and everything great and has no problems. It's ridiculous, but the art's okay. It's not fine. There was
a few points where I'm like, that ninja looks weird. They look like they got cat ears.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's not great. It's okay.
It's fine. It's serviceable.
I'll give them credit for only one big thing. Mm-hmm. We actually center on a panel when you have a message from Jinx.
Yes.
Where, there's but that doesn't mean any, like, she breaks out of her, restraints, and she looks and says, another coded message from Jinx. It says, go hard.
Yeah.
What? Like, that's your message. And that means anything? Nonsense. But yeah. What would you give this?
I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10.
I'm on 4 as well.
It's so disappointing because, I want to like Scarlet. I really do. Scarlet could be a really cool character. Just, we're getting told how great she is, and, like, she's doing all these impossible things, but, like, you know what? We would like to see her struggle a little bit, I mean, if you gave her Storm Shadow, like you said, we added Storm Shadow, you know what you could do? You could have her struggle to be as good as him, because you could just have him dominating, and you're like, oh, well, I need to, up my ante.
He would probably need her. It'd get wacky anyway.
Yeah.
Also, like, at this moment, if you ask me, what can Scarlet do? My answer is, I guess anything. Like, it's not even her saying, like, oh my God, I'm not good at this, or this isn't my forte, but I'll try. I'll do that. No. She's just going and ripping through everybody, and it just doesn't have any weight to it. It doesn't have any stakes. And if you were actually given some good character work, then maybe I could forgive some of this. But I mean, some of this is, like she says, judge competent enough to succeed at a suicide mission. No. You've done everything. You're not just judged competent. You have shown in all this and expendable enough that not returning from the suicide mission is palatable. I'm like, who talks like this? Even in their mind, I'm like, get out of town. It's terrible. I'm going 3-5. Screw it. 3-5. It's not good. We'll continue reading and reviewing it because that's what we do. I know a lot of people have dropped it, and I would suggest if somebody said to me, I really love all the stuff, should I get it? I would say to them, Maybe wait for the trade. If you have to read everything, but if you can deal with, hey, they're probably going to give you a little bit of info that will go to the G.I. Joe book, but I'm sure that if you wait for the G.I. Joe book, she'll be written a lot better than this. Don't worry about this, and don't let this ruin the whole Energon universe.
Weird science is the revolution.